From my own little corner of the world in New Jersey, I am Dr. Janet Pidolato, author of the Mystical Dream Tarot and facilitator in Dream Chats every Friday night here in the United States, saying good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are, joined in this wonderful place that we call Earth. I've come to say hello, and I've come to share with you a little bit about dreaming and about our ability to understand what's happening to us in our life right now. Most of us have been suffering the lockdown for the last several weeks. We've had challenges and financial difficulties, relationships and hopes that just fell apart due to the problems of the pandemic and all of the restrictions that were placed upon us. And these challenges are frightening. I see it in my private practice where people don't understand what's happening. They don't understand where they're going. Well, it looks like there's going to be a loosening. It looks like we're going to move forward, and hopefully it will all move forward. But how do we know, and how do we get our balance? For me, I usually seek information through the dream state, through the dreams that I travel upon the landscapes every night when I go to sleep. And each and every one of you do also, even if you don't remember. But what I do is I generally incubate dreams. And so last night, I decided to incubate, to ask for, to make a request or a petition that I dream about something that was going to give me answers about our position right now, not just mine personally, but each and every one of the sisterhood and brotherhood that unites each and every one of us on this planet. Where are we going now? What has this pause in our life done? And where will we see ourselves in the coming days and weeks? What I do is I take a card and I shuffle the cards, and I pick two. I take one card and I put it face up on my nightstand, and one card face down. And then I make the petition. The petition last night was for each and every one of us. We are here now in the pandemic period, still under lockdown, loosely beginning to get out. Where are we? What can we learn about this? I closed my eyes and went to sleep. And waking up in the middle of the night, I had one unusual but quite spectacular vision. I was at the footfalls of Kilimanjaro, the mountain of Kilimanjaro, which is in Africa. I have never been there, and I have not thought about this for probably a good 30, 40 years, perhaps, when I read the story, The Snows of Kilimanjaro. And that was a book, actually, I believe it was a short story written by Ernest Hemingway. So in the morning, when I woke up again, I placed the other card on my nightstand, turning it over. What did it tell me? Well, the first card that I put before I went to sleep was a card from the Mystical Dream Tarot. And it's a card of a house which is being plummeted by the waters of a storm. And there's a full moon in the sky. Now, anyone who has looked at the Mystical Dream Tarot knows it's not an ordinary tarot. In fact, these are dream images that have come from my dreams, and each card has a story to tell, and that story may change over time. Well, for us now, that house represents the house of our form, our body, our physical waking reality. That is the house of our being that has been plummeted by all of the changes put upon it with the pandemic and with the lockdown. We're not able to go to work. We're not able to even go to a normal supermarket in the way that we normally would be used to. The family events, the holidays, the birthdays, the occasions of graduations, all stopped. Our life has been broken apart. And it's emotional for each and every one of us. In fact, we become moody. And the moon is very much a symbol of the emotions. This has brought great frustration, great tears, and even anger to people as they They no longer have the funds to pay rent. They no longer have the funds for their daily needs. So the card that went by my bed, picked randomly from the Mystical Dream Tarot, shows what most of us have had to go through, at least to some extent. Now, my dream, Kilimanjaro, this mount, for anyone looking at that, even if you didn't know what it meant, you could go online and find out that it is a mountain, the highest peak in Africa. And then we go to ourselves. What does it mean to each and every one of us? To me, it brought me back to adolescence when I read that story about a man who is dying. He's gone on a safari. He has managed to wound himself and unfortunately have a wound that's festering and gangrenous. He's dying. And he spends his time as he's getting ready to die to look over his life. It's a pause, like we have a pause right now, to look over everything that we've done. What should we, would we, could have done is what goes through each and everyone's mind when they do have a pause. And he, at the end, thought of each thing in a very noble way, so much so that a life that he had spent basically because of money and finances, a woman he was with, because of those finances, he did not love. In the end, he didn't share with her that he had done something he shouldn't have, but instead left her feeling that he did love her and that she was worth something to him. He sacrificed the truth to help her to survive after him. Each and every one of us in our space right now may have done something or should have done something that we should have or could not or would not have done. And we look now at our opportunity when a new door opens and says, when those doors open and the lockdown is out, can we not go out and be stronger and manifest the best that we are? At the end of my dream in Kilimanjaro, the whole plateau, snow-covered, is white and glistening. It's magical. And the gentleman who's dying has now risen in a plane, and he's being saved because he's going up to that plateau to a new life. In the case of the story, the afterlife. With us, with each and every one of us, we now have the opportunity after the lockdown, as things go back to the world, to be kinder, to be more gentle, and to really put our priorities where they belong, which is one hand helping the other. Service, service to all around us, supporting one another, that we get further in life. And what was the second card that went by my bed in the incubation? Isn't it interesting? In the story of Kilimanjaro, which is part of my dream, the savior at the end for the dying man is the plane that's come to save him and take him to the white mountain plateau of Kilimanjaro, where he is released of all his angst, of all his sorrows, of all his regrets, because his last moments during his lockdown, when he was getting ready to pass, were of thoughts, of intentions, of if he were given a chance, he would go on and do the right thing. We are given that chance. And of course, this dream, this was no accident that this card rose to tell us that each and every one of us has that red plane, the Rubero in alchemy. This is the gold to the white on the top of the mount. So my dream incubation for each and every one of you last night, based on cards from the Mystical Dream Tarot, where each and every card shows an image, by taking one card pre-sleep, one card waking in the morning, and looking at it in reference to a dream. That dream was incubated for each and every one of us, the sisterhood and brotherhood, the fellowship of all of us beyond any difference. We are all within our soul united. And it looks like such a bright future for us if we realize that plane is ready. It's waiting. It's our savior. The question resides with each and every one of us. Will we not try to be the very best that we can be, to manifest the most noble, the purest of intentions, so that each and every one of us may get to that holy mount and manifest the best world, a better world even than what we began before the lockdown. So blessings to each and every one of you. While your house may be plummeted right now with the difficulties because of the pandemic, know that the plane awaits for each and every one of us, that we may walk ahead in light and in wisdom. This is Dr. Janet Piedalato here in New Jersey, wishing each and every one of you blessings of the day. May you manifest the best that you can be. Watch your dreams, dream, and manifest your waking dreams. Many blessings.